In the heart of the valley, we rise so bright, where the news flows freely in the morning light. Yuba-Sutter live, where truth comes alive. Every Tuesday's a journey, it's where we thrive. Watch it unfold. Yuba-Sutter live, in the heart of our home. Be informed, be wise. Yuba-Sutter live, we capture it all. Policy debates, hear the people's call. With Yuba-Sutter live, you'll never miss a beat. Special reports hit hard, shining a spotlight. Yuba-Sutter live. Yuba-Sutter live.
And live from the corner of 3rd and D Streets in downtown Marysville, Ted Langdell, we are finally here after some technical issues. We've been trying to get a Zoom call going, and we finally succeeded, but the audio is going to be a little less than optimal. And what we are watching today is a program that is brought to us by and presented by Nickell Tax in Marysville.
Hi, I'm Seth here with Nickell Tax and Financial Planning. I'm your financial ally. With years of expertise, we at Nickell Tax go the extra mile to maximize your refund and get the largest allowed by law. With Seth Fuhr and family at Nickell Tax, it's not just about the numbers, it's about personalized service that fits your unique financial goals. That's why we fight for our clients here at Nickell Tax and Financial Planning, where Seth Fuhr and family are going to
save you more than just nickels.
Nickell tax.com.
And we are back here at 3rd and D Streets in Marysville. Our program presented by Nickell Tax. And what is this program? This program is what we planned to be noontime, Marysville Unified School Trustees Area 3 and 4. And we've managed to pull it off in part because of technology, which involves an iPad here and two people in different parts of our community. We have, well, let's introduce them from right here. We've got the Marysville Unified School District Trustees District 3 and 4 candidates right here, right now. And that is Allison Hasty. She's the incumbent. She's up in the corner, upper right-hand corner. Why don't you go ahead and wave your hand there so people know. There we go. That's Allison Hasty. She's a retired music instructor, music teacher in the Marysville district, and she's also an adjunct professor out at Yuba College. And then we also have, in the bottom part of the picture there, we have Trish Vega, who is running for Doug Criddle's seat. Doug is an incumbent. He's the assistant principal at Oroville. This is what happens when you have to try to put something together in a hurry. It's like God called you to do something, but you're not quite sure what. Anyway, so getting on with it here. So we have Doug Criddle and we have Oliver Taylor, who is running for Doug's seat. So it's an interesting situation here, but we're going to get on with the questions. First, about 60 seconds on each candidate to identify a little bit about why you're running, who you are, why you're running. We're going to try to shorten this up. Go ahead, Doug. Pick up the mic.
Hi, Doug Criddle, incumbent in District 4. I currently work as assistant principal at Oroville High School. I have a vast background in education, 18 years, working all the way as a state delegate for CSBA, which is California State Board Association, where I go back on a regular basis to Washington, D.C. and advocate for a lot of different causes, positions, and stances for education, specifically for Yuba County. And I also served at the state level on ROP CTE board in the legislative committee. So I bring a vast background, perspective in education to benefit our community, our partners that are here, community partners, our teachers, our staff, and of course our students.
All right. And we'll move right along to Oliver Taylor. Go ahead, Oliver.
Hello, everyone. I'm Oliver Taylor. I am running for Area 3 as a trustee. I am a father of 7, married to my wife Melissa, 31 years. I come to you as a parent and as a citizen in our community. I'm a full-time pastor, network administrator, and we do community involvement, say love. So we've been in this community for quite some time, since about 2016. Retired Air Force, just about 21 years, and just here to help me bridge the gap. I see there's a disparity between the school board and the parents, and I believe we can bring some ability to communicate effectively what's happening, where it's broken, and where we can actually put things back together. So help me bridge the gap. It's not just a school problem, it's definitely a we problem.
All right. And now we're going to Allison Hasty, who is in her car over in Yuba City, getting ready to go to a orchestra rehearsal.
Yes, I am. Hello. It's nice to see everyone. I wish I could see everyone. It's nice. Yes, I'm the incumbent for Area 3. I have been teaching in Marysville, and now I'm currently retired from Marysville, but still working at the college. My experience is with literacy and specifically teaching music, and I have a master's, and a deep commitment to our community and families and children that are the future of our community.
All right. And so we will go back here, and then we're going to have Trish Vega start talking, and we'll take her. Go ahead, Trish.
Hi, thank you very much for letting me join in. I'm Trish Vega. I'm running for school board trustee for District 4. I'm a lifelong local. I am really passionate about doing whatever we can to better our community, and especially starting with this younger generation. My son has gone all the way through Marysville Joint Unified School District, starting at Kynoch, McKinney, then now he's a senior at the high school. And I've always taken every opportunity I could to jump in, volunteer, serve. I've worked with reading groups when they were little kids and graded papers so teachers could have time to focus on other things. I've been chaperones, I've been the team mom, I've been a Little League mom, and everything all the way through. I just really enjoy giving back and doing that part with everybody. In my private life, I'm a tech. Oh, are we done?
No,
in my private life, I'm an X-ray tech. I work at the hospital, and I am a leader there, and I'd like to take some of those leadership skills to help bring to the board and try to, make sure that everybody knows that they always have a voice with me, and my team, I can get a team to work together, and we can get a lot of things done.
All right, very good. Trish, we'll start with the first question. What is the role of a school district in 60 seconds?
The role of the school district, of the school district or the school board? Okay.
The school district. What is the role of a school district?
The school district, the role of them is to like a network of schools that work together to pull in common resources to work to come up with curriculum and ideas to raise a community of children.
Okay. Allison, why don't you take that question?
Well, I agree with Trish. I would expand it to say we are responsible for, we are partners with the families to raise literate children who will become citizens, more effective citizens for our community and the future of our world.
Okay. And we will move along back here live to the corner of 3rd and D. And thank you, Allison. Let's hear from Oliver.
Same question.
Oh, the question is, what is the role of a school district?
The role of the school district is to come together with comprehensive
Oh, wait a minute. Just make sure, oh, you got to pick up the mic there. There we go.
This one? All right, here we go. The role of a school district is to come together with comprehensive plans and strategies, how we can come together and to put those plans and strategies in place on behalf of the children, which are our future leaders. What we also have to do is to come together and to stay together. It's a big deal when we as people don't come together. Our school district, I believe, brings us together, and it goes down to the school board, which also made up of people that can come together and keep those same policies and practices together of the school board and the school district.
Okay, and we'll move along and let Doug have a whack at that.
Thank you, Ted. Really, it's a lot of what everybody here has said. We're on the same page. I would go even deeper, and to include the fact that we need to be more inclusive with our community employer partnerships. That is one of the main reasons, as we know, not every kid's going to go to college. So having those opportunities to look at career technical education, especially in the Yuba-Sutter and inclusive counties, as a regional approach and a regional lens is very important. And having those conversations and establishing those business opportunities to have our outside community partners have a say and have a voice in our education is extremely important. And I think that's an area that we need to expand upon at Marysville Joint.
Okay. Very good. So our next question, what is the role of a school district trustee member? And we'll just kind of go back around the corner here. Doug?
This is pretty simple. The role of a trustee at an LEA school is two things, policy and procedure. And policy procedure is a big job. It's a very big shoes to fill and to look at. There's many components that are involved in that. But outside of that scope, or other people have an idea about it, it comes down to policy and procedure.
Okay, Oliver.
I would also go and say policy and procedures, but also being able to stand and to, when the policy and procedure doesn't match up perhaps what you believe, when it's kind of erroneous, but being able to take a stand. Because some policy and procedures are done out of reaction, not necessarily out of application. And what I mean by that is something can happen and it can be just a small percentage of something that's taking place, and we make a huge policy over it, when in fact we would just address the main problem of what's going on. Oftentimes things could be mitigated with just a real conversation. And so that's what a trustee is able to do, is able to have that conversation with parents, have the conversation with the school board, and then being able to come together and have a strategy that's best built for the children.
Okay, we're going to move along to Allison Hasty. The question is, what is the role of a school district trustee?
It's a real interesting balancing act. Yes, we are told at the governmental level that our job is policy and procedure. We are also the bridge between the community and the superintendent. As I understand it, our only employee directly is the superintendent. So that communication needs to be clear. But our responsibility is to the whole district. So it's a really interesting balancing act. And yes, Oliver is right. We need to be listening constantly, and we need to be having conversations constantly, because our bridges, relationship-wise, are essential, and we need to keep those bridges open.
All right, Trish, why don't you pick up where Allison left off?
I agree with pretty much everything that everybody said. It is really important, everything with policy and procedure, but I also feel that our role is to be like a checks and balances for the superintendent and the middle ground in between, just like she said, the community and our superintendent. And just the reason that there is a whole board of people is so that there's a variety of different thoughts going in and different perspectives coming in, And I think it's super important that we voice all of those things and we work together to try to bridge that gap, be the voice of reason, listen to everything fully, and I take it very seriously what the school board does. It's really important to listen to everything.
What is the biggest challenge that Marysville Joint Unified School District faces today, in your opinion, and how do you propose to address that?
Are you asking me, Trish?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. I think one of the biggest challenges, there's several big challenges that I think the school district, is just budget. Everything costs so much to do for all of us in our own home lives and everywhere else. And I think it's super important that when we take the money that comes in, that we're very, very mindful of how we spend it. We're very, very mindful of where every single cent goes, and we are transparent with everything that it goes. That's what that's what makes the community follow us and understand us. That gives all of everybody faith in what we're doing there. I think that's a really big thing. Another thing is, I said this before, like discipline in the schools. Time to look at some of the different policies and things. The kids are getting, things are getting a little more violent at school and different things, and we have so many hands-off policies about things, which I completely, definitely don't. It's important to have hands-off policies, but sometimes yelling just isn't enough, and I think that we need to kind of address what we're going to do for follow-up, for discipline, for just different actions, all the different fights, the kids videoing fights and putting them on YouTube and all of that kind of stuff. That stuff needs to be addressed because it's scary. It's scary.
Allison, why don't you pick up on that question? What is the biggest challenge Marysville Joint Unified School District faces today, and how do you propose to address that?
That's a really tough question. We have generational poverty. We have increased, like Trish said, the violence is really scary. With the legislation that's currently in place, I don't know how to address it, honestly. Other than spending time with kids individually and improving the family relationships, I don't know how we're going to improve the school dynamics. It's a really tough spot right now in our community, and we have to, whoever we are, from whatever position we're in, need to bring our best attitude and our best efforts. We can't just blame and look for things to criticize, but we need to look for ways for how we can be helpful.
Need a little empathy?
Oh man. Yes, please.
Okay. All right. Back here at 3rd and D Street. Let's start with Doug. What is the biggest challenge that Marysville Unified School District faces today, and how do you propose to address that?
Well, the fiscal responsibility of the budget is a given. Every school district in the state of California is facing the same problems. It's not just here. So that's a given. I'm not putting that as second or third. It's something that is at the it's even before that. It's important that we're all fiscally responsible and that we're making the right decisions. Really, in answering your question, Ted, the biggest issue right now is inclusivity with the board, the superintendent, all the way down to outside community partners, and of course our staff and MUTA teachers. I think that looking at and strengthening our leadership ties, our communication with those partners is, in my opinion, at the top of the list. Fiscal responsibility falls in suit by having good communication and people being inclusive about what's going on. So that's how I'd rank that right there.
Okay. Oliver?
We've all talked a lot about the budget, but I've come to find out, Doug, that people afford or will find a way to afford what they value. And what we have lost is the value of education. We've lost the value oftentimes of hard work. And most times now we have ones that want to actually do the internet thing. People want the children not looking necessarily for college, they may want to do a trade school, they may want to do something else, they want to be some type of program, they want to be some type of youth. They have everything else other than education as it was when we were coming up as youngsters. And so what I believe we have to do is really address the family dynamics. Allison spoke of generational poverty, and that is a huge area, but I also find that some people don't want to come out of poverty because it takes away, oftentimes, as a paycheck that's being given instead of the hard work that actually needs to be involved. I believe we have to retool, we have to reskill, we have to learn what it means to still work hard. To me, that's foreign because I've been in the military for 21 years, and you didn't have an option not to show up as a man. And so that's what we're looking to do, is try to inspire those parents. I'm really after the parents, I'm after the fathers. I want to see those men step up. I've been at the school board meetings, and I'll tell you, after the 5 hour, I've been to a couple of them, 3 of them, and it's to see you don't have the opportunity for the parents to really talk, because it's a going back and forth with the teachers union. That's great, we can do that, but we need to be able to hear from the parents. How can we get them involved? You can't have a 3 hour meeting and not hear from the parents. We have to be involved. So it's a we problem. It's systemic. It's not just the school. It's on us as well to show up and to be there for our youth, because they are our future leaders, and they're leading now, but not in the direction perhaps they should go.
All right. Let's ask Allison a follow-up question on that. And Doug can weigh in on this, all of you. But is a school board, I like what you're saying, but is a school board meeting where the business of the district is being transacted, is that really a place where that kind of communication is possible or is appropriate? Allison?
Do you mean for the parents to come to the board meeting? Is that, are you asking if that's appropriate for parents to come and make comments?
Well, I think that it's appropriate for the board to hear from people, but
yes.
Is the board meeting format an appropriate place, and is it a place where that actually can happen, the kinds of communication that you're all talking about?
Well, that is, yes, we have business we need to get through, and that is why there's the 3-minute limit per individual and the 20-minute limit per topic in the public comments. And when my kids, I think before we started having kids, I said if more parents would go to the school boards, we would have fewer problems in schools, public schools. So I've always been committed to public schools, and I am deeply concerned and will continue to be committed, whatever spot I'm in, to what happens in our public schools, because I do believe it's essential. But there are so many constraints right now. And back to your question, as far as is the school board meeting the place to have the parental communications? And I hope I'm hearing your question correctly.
Yeah. Is there an opportunity at the time, I think, is one thing, but also just what that meeting is set up to do is doesn't seem to me to be an effective
Correct.
way of trying to do that.
Correct. And there are other ways to talk to the school board members individually. As a parent, I have always talked to the school board members for my children's schools. So, and we were in 3 different school districts. So that's, yes, I don't think that's it's not the only place for parents to voice their concerns.
All right.
Trish,
what?
There are phone calls, there are emails, and I do get back to parents when I get an email or a phone call.
Trish, what's your take on that?
I believe there's a lot of business that does need to happen at the school board meetings, but I think that parents should always be there, be present, and be able to voice their opinions on things. There is a time limit, so that does make it so things don't get out of hand. I always appreciate it at the meetings that I've gone to when parents and community members do stand up and say something. And I feel like in the past I've reached out to different school board members when I've been concerned about or I've suggested that, and I've done it myself when we've been concerned about any little thing. And if I were a school board member, I would be open to hearing anything anybody had to say and bring it to the fellow trustees. You know, I think all of us would. So that's how I feel about that. Yeah, parents should be heard, and they'll have their 3 minutes, and I think it's up to us all to listen and work together. Everybody has hopefully the same common goal.
Okay, great. What is the biggest challenge that Marysville Unified School District needs to address over the next 5 years, and what steps will you take, Doug, if you're reelected, to get that to happen?
That's a great question, Ted. Really, right now, it's about forming those partnerships again. To the prior question that was asked, are the meetings productive? Not entirely, no. I think there needs to be some restructuring of how the meetings are set up in order for the communication process, which I made the point earlier that that's one of the areas of opportunity that we have, is there is a lack of communication and a lack of us being inclusive. And I say us, we're all included in that in the school board, but from the superintendent on down, and being inclusive not only with just staff and students and parents, but outside community partners. And I don't think that has happened to the fullest extent. There's definitely room for improvement there. That is one of the things that, that question, and also with the question you just asked about the 5-year plan, that's something that's ongoing, and that changes climate and culture within the school district by first being inclusive and having those courageous conversations, if you will, prior to the board meeting.
So what would you propose to foster the changes that you're thinking of?
I believe it comes down to agreement and leadership and moving forward.
And making a motion to do something at a meeting?
Well, prior to that and putting that on the agenda, yes, of course.
Okay. Oliver?
The success and failure of any business or entities really has to do with the leadership. And as we are coming together, Allison made a great statement. It's 3 minutes for comments, but it's 20 minutes per topic. So how about we change and give some more time and make it a topic? Maybe the parameters can, because I see a lot of different things that are put up. You know, they talk about the failure rates. They talk about how, we're not passing. In school, we talk about, 3rd grade reading level, 6th grade reading level, things that are just continual failures. Well, that gets a lot of attention, but I think what we need to do is look at, hey, maybe make the parental thing an actual topic. Reverse that a little bit. We get everybody kind of together, because now you got to be able to hear and be able to talk and communicate. Because if you don't communicate, then it's also on the parents as well. It's like when you don't vote. If you don't vote, then you have nothing to say. Your vote cannot be counted. There's nothing else you have to say. Please stay at home. Don't do anything else. But if you're going to stand up and be involved. Come out to the meeting. Try to mentor someone, tutor someone. So as far as 5 years, that's the first thing we're looking to do. Looking at how we can, work within the leadership that's given at the present time. And secondly, you have to have those. I still like going door to door. I was talking to Doug earlier about how he goes and make those home visits. As a local pastor, I do that. I love going and talking with other people, seeing what the family dynamics are. Because people are one way at school, at church, or at work. Let me see you in your home environment, how we can best help you bridge the gap and address the areas that you need to be addressing. So you may not have food in your house, but you're embarrassed to say about it. Well, let's see how we can do that, maybe discreetly, help you get some other funds. And it may not be the school board, maybe something that you can do individually and personally, but you can meet the need. You find the need and you're able to meet it.
Different kinds of partnerships.
Different types of partnerships, absolutely.
Okay. All right, so let's jump into one of the gorillas in the room. Area 4 Trustee Steph Stamen proposed making it district policy to require district employees to tell parents if and when a student chooses to adopt a gender identity or orientation that is at odds with what's considered the student's birth, sex, or gender. Oliver, you want to jump in?
Absolutely. If you're saying that he made the policy to require that to happen?
That was my understanding of his intent.
Okay, well, if that's what he stated to require to happen, I don't oppose that. Because as a father of 7, I could not imagine, sending my children to school and we leave them, they go to school one way and we leave them going from home one way, they're doing something totally different at the school. Because what happens is I want to have all the responsibility. If I have the say and you hold me accountable, I have the responsibility. If I have the responsibility, I want to have all the say as to what is happening.
Since time is getting short, let's move along. We're going to go to Trish. What's your take on that?
Oh, I was there when I heard the statement that he wanted to introduce that. I feel like our schools, it's not their responsibility to report these types of things to the parents. They need to report things to the parents if there's some sort of a problem. Somebody's going to harm themselves. Somebody's going to do anything, to hurt themselves. That's one thing. But they're not to put them into, there was concern mentioned even at the board meeting and everything about it could put kids into abusive situations at home, and it could do different things like that. And our school board, our school already, where everybody's already a mandated reporter. They report, they try to keep kids out of really bad situations. They're there to teach them reading, writing, math, everything. They're there to focus on those types of things and to make sure the kid's in a happy environment. And it's really, as far as them questioning, a kid questioning their sexuality or something like that, it's not our place to, it's not anybody's place to disclose that to the parents. I think the parents should have that relationship with their kids to find that stuff out on their own. And unless it becomes a harm or a danger, students, it should not be, I don't know, I don't think that we need to do that.
Okay. We've lost Allison Hasty. She had to go to an orchestra rehearsal for an upcoming performance. So we will turn to Doug. You heard that. What's your take on it?
Well, I did hear it. I was actually present. I did hear that, and I was actually present at that meeting. And I don't recall Seth making a policy, but I think we talked about having a discussion about that. And is per First Amendment right, Seth has that right to say how and what he wants to talk about. I completely support Seth Seaman in that, and as an administrator on the other side of that coin, it ties our hands as administrators in the school district. If my job is to communicate with the parent what's going on, be the other parent, if you will, at the school, and my hands are tied, that's a problem for me. That's a problem for the system itself. So I think the system of how we're doing stuff right now and having that communication would be jeopardized. I'm also leading the question or leading the answer here with you're also referring to AB 1955. Is that correct?
Yep.
So AB 1955 has got a lot of problems with it. As you know, Ted, it's most likely going to get scrutinized coming up here with the Supreme Court. But again, it comes down to what's right for the kids and what's right for the parents, and right now that doesn't seem to really be right for the kids or the parents.
Okay. If the board were to support a motion such as what Seth was talking about doing, would you support such a move? And would you support spending an unknown amount of money defending that position?
Well, that's a very good question. If the ruling comes down that that's actually going to be held in place, that's a discussion that we have to have as a board together as a joint. My personal views don't matter, other than the fact that this does part of the as on the board we're 7 legs of a table. And how I feel, Seth feels, or whoever other is on that board, that's their prerogative. And it does come down to also listen to our constituents and how they feel.
We're running short of time. Is there something, Oliver, that we didn't ask that you think is important for folks to know in about 30 seconds if you can? I've got a couple more questions and we'll run through them. Go
Okay,
ahead.
gotcha. I think one thing is how do we get here? That's probably one of the biggest things. How can we change generational poverty? How can we address the generational poverty? How can we address the drug abuse? Where did it all stem from? And another thing is, how do we get better and how do we move on from here? How can we change somebody and make their life better? And one thing I can tell you how you make somebody else better is through exposure. Me being from Birmingham, Alabama, I was exposed to a whole different world when the military sent me to Mountain Home, Idaho. And I spent my first part of my career, 10 years there in Mountain Home, Idaho. I wish I learned how to snow ski and hunt deer and elk and bird hunt. And so I did quite a bit. So it was a vast difference as staying in just your little community. The question is, you have to get outside what you know, and I believe further exposure is the key to that.
Okay. Trish, same question. Which is there something we didn't ask that you think is important for folks to know?
No, nothing that you didn't ask. I just think it's really important that we understand the school board. It's supposed to be made up of all different people from all different backgrounds with all different thoughts, all different everything, and it's supposed to be checks and balances in between every person in the district, be a student or an educator, custodian, lunch lady, every single person, and then the superintendent. And I just feel like it's really important to have a variety of people with a bunch of variety of thoughts, and I really appreciate hearing everybody's thoughts here today. It's really nice to hear that. When I go to the school board meetings, you don't always get to hear everybody's thoughts, and it's really nice, to hear. And that's all I'd like to say.
Awesome. Yeah. Great. Is there a question that you would like to ask the person who you are running against?
I don't think I have a question for him. I think he's done a good job, and I'm, proud of what he's done. The reason that I'm running was because of the fact that it sort of seemed like there was a lot of not much of a challenge or not much bridging the gap between the superintendent and all of the staff and everything. And so I guess I would just wonder if am I wrong in that? I just wanted to get in and I guess I would just want to get in there and ask him how does he feel like he's done for the last 4 years? How does he feel? Does he feel like he has expressed his voice and been present and tried to bridge gaps between people?
Doug?
Thank you, Trish. First of all, thank you for your passion in running. I mean, first of all, having the courage to come out and run and be a part of that and have that passion, I completely respect that, and thank you for doing that. I mean, if we had more people in our community that would step up and do that, I think we'd be better off. I think you'd agree with that. But so thank you. In answer to your question, yeah, I do concur. I think that the variety of and level of experience and what folks bring to the table should be very diverse and very broad, so that we have different opinions, we have different views, and we can look at things differently and bring that to the table to make better decisions upon. I think one of the biggest things, and there's been quite a few that coming into this arena here 4 years ago, was that we immediately saw that a lot of our schools were in dire need. When I had not really seen what I'd heard, and then until I toured the schools and looking at things, we made a lot of improvements. We've had a lot of opportunities with funding from the federal as well as state level to utilize those funds to improve our schools and make them attractive and accommodating to all of our students. And that's one of the things that I was a part of doing. along as well as the two different tracks that we were able to find grant funding for. And I did the grand opening out at Lyndhurst, and that's a game changer out there for those kids in the community. Marysville High School is underway right now. There was some delays on that with the department or DCA. And we are on track there to get those going. And those types of improvements with the community also benefit the community as well. So just with the amount of time we have here, not enough, but I'd be more than happy to, if you want to reach out, we can talk some more about that. And again, thank you for at least your interest in doing this. And I wish you all the luck, and it was a pleasure getting a chance to meet you.
And as we wrap up, just one further question. Trish, we'll start with you. How can the selection of a new superintendent help or hinder resolving the issues, some of which we've talked about today?
I think there's a huge gap, unfortunately, between the superintendent and the staff of the schools. I think that having a fresh face in there, a new superintendent might very well. We have to be really careful about who ends up in that superintendent job, and it might very well change things. There's been a lot of just big sweeping changes since she's been superintendent, and some of them are great, and some of them are not, have been very challenging for all of our teachers and students. And so I feel like it's just going to be it's going to have to be a really careful selection process to find the right person who is going to come in there and give everybody confidence that they'll do their best to try to make things get back on track.
Oliver?
Simply, come let us reason together. We have to have people that work well together. Not just work together, but work well together. We can bounce ideas off of one another. We have vast differences. We have vast backgrounds. But that's what brings us and makes us stronger. And leadership, I believe, is always the key. Again, people will pay for and will do what they value. We have to find value in education. We have to find value really in one another. That's what this is about. It's not just a school problem. It's definitely a we problem. We have to bridge the gap together. It takes all of us.
All right. Any other final thoughts? Doug?
Please make sure you vote.
All right.
All right. Make sure you vote. Outstanding. Thank you, Ted. Appreciate you.
Very good. Well, we appreciate you taking some time in your car. I know you have a memorial service to attend, and I hope that you can bring some comfort to the family that you're going to go be with.
I thank you very much. Yes, I hope the same. Thank you very much. Thank you for including me on this today. It was a really nice talk.
Well,
I appreciate it.
I'd love to do this again sometime. I just wish that the technology that worked at 4 o'clock in the morning worked at noon instead of what we ended up doing. But I think everybody could hear, I hope.
That's right.
So there we are. All right. So we have been talking with the trustees and trustee candidates seeking office in the trustee area 3 and 4, including Doug Criddle and oh my goodness, where are my notes? It's been a long day. No, they're here. But that's all right. But we've been talking with Doug Criddle and Oliver Taylor and Trish, who has now jumped off. But we want to also thank Nickell Tax for presenting our program this afternoon, and hope that you are able to enjoy the rest of this wonderful weekend.
Hi, I'm Seth here with Nickell Tax and Financial Planning, and I'm your financial ally. With years of expertise, we at Nickell Tax go the extra mile to maximize your refund and get the largest allowed by law. With Seth Fuhr and family at Nickell Tax, it's not just about the numbers, it's about personalized service that fits your unique financial goals. That's why we fight for our clients here at Nickell Tax and Financial Planning, where Seth, Fear, and family are going to
Save you more than just nickels.
Nickell tax.com.
In the heart of the valley, we rise so bright, where the news flows freely in the morning light. Yuba-Sutter life, where truth comes alive. Every Tuesday's a journey, it's where we thrive. Watch it unfold. Yuba-Sutter life, in the heart of our home. Be informed, be wise. Yuba-Sutter life, we capture it all. Policy debates, hear the people's call. With Yuba-Sutter live, you'll never miss a beat. Special reports hit hard, shining a spotlight. Yuba-Sutter live. Yuba-Sutter live.
Ted Langdell back here at 3rd and D Streets, Christmas Tree Park. We hope you've learned something today. Little technical difficulty. We've learned a few things today, but we were happy and pleased to be able to present to you the folks who've been talking about Yuba Water Agency, Marysville Unified School District, some of the things. There's a lot more we could have gotten into, but we were happy to get into what we were able to get into. And I can also tell you that it's a very nice and sunny 77 degrees. And we're going to thank you very much for watching and remind you to tune in on Tuesdays, because you will be able to watch a whole bunch of stuff coming up on Tuesday. 9 o'clock, the Yuba County Supervisors regular meeting. We will also have the 3 p.m. Sutter County Supervisors meeting, 7 p.m. Yuba City Unified School District Trustees meeting. All of those presented by Plumas Lake Self-Storage in Plumas Lake at plumaslakeselfstorage.com. So, thank you again for watching, and we're glad that you were here.
In the heart of the valley, we rise so bright, where the news flows freely in the morning light. Yuba-Sutter life, where truth comes alive. Every Tuesday's a journey, it's where we thrive. Watch it unfold. Yuba-Sutter life, in the heart of our home. Be informed, be wise. Yuba-Sutter life, we capture it all. Policy debates, hear the people's call. With Yuba-Sutter live, you'll never miss
Just
a
about to
beat.
wrap up. I can chat in a
Reports
second.
hit hard, shining a spotlight.